CJAM, redefining radio in Windsor, Detroit. We are 99.1 FM.
This frequency cleared.
Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for MediaPlex Live.
On CJAM 99.1, redefining radio in Windsor, Detroit. I'm Riley Livingston.
I'm Zachary Balog.
And I'm Hussein.
And you're in for a half hour of news, views, commentary, and maybe a few laughs. But first, the news.
The lifeline for Windsor Assembly Plant's second shift has been extended to the end of 2022. Unifor Local 444 President Dave Cassidy gave the update Thursday night in a video posted to the union's Facebook page. The company has now extended the shift to December 31st.
As an immigrant and a student, it is now more difficult to get permanent resident status. Ravi Wijamane reports.
International students in limbo. Canada reduces the quota of immigration for federal high-skilled workers. The government's immigration plan for 2022 lowers the number of immigrants under the stream to 55,000. That's nearly a 30% drop compared to the previous year. This category is the most popular stream for professionals with foreign experience to settle in Canada. International students with Canadian work experience are one of the most affected groups by this decision. Pamit Kandaniarachi is an international student from Sri Lanka. He graduated from the Automotive Technician program at Centennial College, Toronto. Since then, he has been contributing to the Canadian economy as an automotive technician. He says Canada attracted students like him with the promise of permanent residence. Now, he says he feels let down.
We spend a lot of money getting here, and then, just having an uncertainty, like a mist in front of us, that not knowing like when are we going to get our permanent residency, or when are they going to open it up, or whatever, something like that. So it's kind of uncertain.
According to Statistics Canada, international students contribute more than 10% of total university revenues. Nearly 3 out of 10 international students who came to Canada in the year 2000 or after became landed immigrants within 10 years. For MediaPlex News, I am Ravishan Vijaymandan.
Well, Maha, is it winter? Is it summer? Is it spring? What is in store for us this weekend?
Today, Friday, it is sunny with a high of 14. Tomorrow, Sunday, it will also be sunny with a high of 17. There will also be some wind of up to 20 kilometers per hour. On Sunday, there will also be a high of 17, and by night, it will be cloudy with a 70% chance of showers. That's it for weather. It's the final stretch of this cold spring and hopefully the beginning of a warm summer.
You're listening to MediaPlex Live
On CJAM 99.1, redefining radio in Windsor, Detroit.
On today's show, Crime Stoppers joins us.
We talk batteries.
Morgan is here to spill some tea.
And it may be the last day of school, but weird news never ends.
All this and more on MediaPlex Live
On CJAM 99.1 FM, the Jammin' One.
Now let's join our partners at Crime Stoppers for this week's update. Here's Constable Sarah Werstein.
On Saturday, April 23rd at approximately 7:30 p.m., members of the Windsor Police Service responded to a report of a stabbing that occurred in the 1400 block of Parent Avenue. The victim, an adult male, was immediately transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries. A youth who cannot be identified is facing charges of attempt murder and assault with a weapon. The Major Crime Unit is actively investigating this incident and requesting anyone in the area of Parent and Ellesmere Avenue north from Shepherd Street East to Giles Boulevard East with surveillance camera and vehicles equipped with dash cam to check their footage for any evidence. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Windsor Police Service Major Crime Unit, or should you wish to remain anonymous, contact Crime Stoppers by calling 519-258-TIPS or leave a tip online at catchcrooks.com. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
Well, for sure it's Friday, and for sure it's the last day of the semester. Woo! But that also means Maha is here to tell us there is more. Maha.
Today, April 29th, is National Zipper Day. Today is a day that honors a zipper, the useful invention that binds the edges of fabric or other flexible materials as defined online. Zippers are everywhere from clothing to purses to backpacks. I'm sure we take many things for granted. I just hope the zippers on our jackets on a cold winter day isn't one of them. Celebrate today by wearing clothes that only have zippers, or you can indulge in some DIY activities and sew on a zipper on a clothing item. While you're at it, choose some colorful zippers or make some jewelry out of old and unused zippers. Did you know that the global zipper market is estimated at $11 billion a year? Happy National Zipper Day.
I cannot tell you or stress how important a zipper is.
I agree.
Yesterday was a day to remember those and the families of those who have suffered workplace injuries. Colin Bannon reports.
April 28th is the day to pay respects to workers no longer with us. Monday, April 28th has served as the National Day of Mourning to those who have lost loved ones from workplace deaths or injuries. Working remotely or on-site, this day honors those who have been affected. The Government of Canada placed this day in effect in 1991. 925 deaths were reported from workplace accidents in 2019, contributing to the over 200,000 Canadians who were killed or injured while working. Megan Simon, the health and safety representative of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation, informs us that this day is important to those who have been affected by workplace deaths or injuries of loved ones.
Ontario workers have a right to a safe work environment. That is the right to know, the right to participate, and definitely the right to refuse unsafe work. And if the worker realizes they're in an unsafe situation, they should be reporting it to their superior. And I think that's where a lot of the issues arise. They're too afraid, especially with young workers. So it's important as education workers that we educate the youth.
In honor of fallen workers, businesses are encouraged to lower their flags to half-staff and give a moment of silence. For MediaPlex News, I'm Colin Bannon.
A few weeks ago, Windsor attracted the new LG battery plant, and with that comes jobs. Caleb Coulter reports.
The first ever Canadian EV assembly plant will be built in our very own Windsor. The new facility will be located on EC Row in Banwell. Janil Daria, a master's student from the University of Windsor, says he's excited for the new facility to be built.
So basically, self-driving works in the way of object detection. So when a car is driving, it senses the movement around it. And electric vehicles provide enough efficiency for that thing to work. Because if you try to add this concept in a diesel car or in a gasoline car, it won't be much efficient. We have an association named VIVA. It's Windsor Essex Electric Vehicles Association. So you can see we have an association ready in the Windsor city that is trying to promote electric cars.
Mario Medeiros, a longtime employee at Chrysler Windsor, said he had some concerns.
We see the world pushing towards that, but at the same time, I don't believe no place in the world is actually ready to sustain anything like that.
As EV sales rise year after year, you can expect to see more and more electric cars on the road in Windsor. From MediaPlex News, I'm Caleb Coulter.
Besides donuts, there is nothing we like better than a good debate. What's up today, Maha?
This week's unpopular opinion is there's no need to send cards in 2022 because it is a waste of trees. If you ask me, I agree. We are all profoundly attached to our smartphones and technological devices. So with that said, send that card or event invitation via text or WhatsApp. Canva, for example, has plenty of creative options to choose from. I get that a physical card has its appeal and unique feel, but in today's modern era, cards may have become a thing of the past. What are your thoughts?
For one, there's nothing more better than, having a physical card, opening it up, and then money falls out.
It could be transferred.
It's not the same.
No.
No, see, I slightly disagree with you. I think I agree with the concern for the environment, but there's nothing like a handwritten, hand-delivered card given to you that was picked out by that person, or in some cases handmade by that person with a handwritten message in it. There's just something so much more personal about that than something, even if you put a lot of effort into an e-card, it's not the same to me. And, especially if you get it from like a young child or something and they've written in it and they've drawn pictures, it's so cute. And then you can hang on to that and keep it. And I'm all for the physical things, right? And so it's just more personal to me.
Also, the unpredictability of it, just like getting a card in the mail and you just walk out to your mailbox and you're not expecting it to be there, but you're like, this person took time out of their day to think of me and to make me a card or write me a card or write me a nice note.
Yeah.
And it's nicer than getting something through the internet, which someone has still written and still typed, but you're putting more work into it, and you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears into it.
Go ahead.
Wouldn't the same apply to a text, getting an e-card? Because you're not expecting that either.
That's true. I don't know. And I think in certain situations, like maybe across the ocean, that would be much more convenient than trying to mail, right? Mailing is so difficult nowadays. So I think there's benefits to both.
You know, I always get tagged with having weird stuff to talk about, but Vienne Duchesne is here to prove I'm not the only one. Vienne, what do we got for today?
Weird question, but do you like to check yourself out when you're working out? Well, I've got the thing for you, the Vaha Fitness Mirror. This mirror has a feature where you can connect to the internet and play music, have a personal trainer, as well as it just being a regular mirror and displaying the time. There's AI that picks up on your movements and exercises and gives you ways to improve. This mirror has started its sales in the UK and Europe, but has now reached out to Canadian Tire and other Canadian retailers. There are upsides to having this mirror, like it fixing your form and also results in less injuries. But there are also downsides, like people with eating disorders may not want to see themselves all the time. I don't know about everyone else that's listening, but I am slowly convincing myself against it. What does everybody else think? Is it worth the hype or down the pipe?
I don't work out, so I don't really have a comment for this. But I mean, who are you? You admirers looking at themselves in the mirror all the time.
Fitness gurus and influencers.
Yeah,
that's their life.
Bros.
True. Yeah.
They need to find new hobbies.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it reminded me, Vienne, I remember a couple months ago, maybe even longer now, SNL had a skit about that where there was like some, another actor in the mirror that was the fitness trainer, and they had like a whole skit about it. But it just reminded me. I think that's funny. So obviously people are thinking about it and it's a thing. But I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah, it seems like it's out there in the media if that's what they're talking about.
Obviously people have heard of it.
Yeah.
Also take into account this is a post-pandemic society, so a lot of fitness companies are trying to make money off of that, but also life is slowly going back to normal. So how long is this phase going to last?
And also it's coming like from the UK and from Europe to Canada now, so maybe there might be more people that
certainly
will get on the train.
Who knows?
It's time for some wisdom, and that's why Donna's here. It's time to get smart.
Thanks, Zach.
Welcome.
Happy Friday, Sea Jammers. Today, let's talk about glass. Not the kind that you drink out of and put ice in, the kind you look through when you're in your car. Have you ever had a tiny chip in your windshield that suddenly wasn't so tiny anymore? Did you know that every week you should take a minute and examine the glass in your car? I'm happy if it's clean. I never actually stopped to examine it. But 75% of chips can be repaired if you catch them right away. If you don't repair them, one big temperature fluctuation and it's not a small chip anymore. That's exactly what happened to me. I saw it, I procrastinated about getting it fixed, and suddenly it wasn't a chip anymore. It was a massive crack that went from the driver's side to the passenger side and was so not pretty. Luckily, my friend Ted at Standard Auto Glass on Tecumseh Road fixed it for me, but rather than a quick fix, it was a 3-hour job. So with the hot weather just around the corner or a snowstorm, whatever comes, if you have a chip in your glass, get it fixed. Don't be like me and procrastinate about it. And if you do go see Ted, tell him Donna said give Sea Jammers a break. I'm Donna Tuckwell. This was your Get Smart, Stay Safe Minute, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Way to plug Ted's auto shop.
Right? He was a nice guy.
As the pandemic slowly moves into our rearview mirror, it might be time to get out and see a show. And as Gracie Lowe's reports, Caesars Windsor is ready.
Sarah McLachlan is coming back to Windsor for an intimate show. After 264 days with no live entertainment, the Coliseum at Caesars Windsor is back with a talent-packed schedule, which includes an intimate acoustic evening with Sarah McLachlan on July 9th. Suzanne Tompkins is the manager of communications and PR at Caesars Windsor, and she said she's excited to have live entertainment back at the Coliseum.
We're really excited to really host live entertainment again. It's been, the Coliseum has been part of Caesars for 14 years, and we really bring in some excellent headline entertainment right to our community.
Tickets are on sale now. Tompkins said that some of the shows will be selling out, so if there's any interest in attending these events, you can go to Caesars.com for more information. For MediaPlex News, I'm Gracie Lowe's.
Sarah McLachlan. In the arms of an angel. Hey, Riley, curious minds want to know. It's time for...
Hey, Morgan, it's time to spill the tea. Well, C-Jammers, this week I thought it would be fun for all of us in the studio to spill the tea by talking about our favorite songs. Zach, what's your favorite song?
We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together by Taylor Swift. The song lives rent-free in my mind ever since its initial release, and since the re-recording, it's only accelerated.
Love that for you and love some T-Swift. Riley?
Well, I have a lot of different favorite songs. I listen to a wide variety of music, but I would have to pick Shiny Happy People by REM. They're one of my all-time favorite bands. I love some good 90s alternative.
I just love 90s in general, so I feel you. Donna?
I'm like Riley. I like music from across a bunch of different genres. I would have to say Dolly Parton, Rockin' Years, or on the flip side of that, it would be just about anything by AC/DC.
We stand Queen Dolly in this house.
Maha's turn.
Oh, Maha, sorry.
No worries. I'm biased towards some Canadian content, but I'll always enjoy Drake's "Nice for What."
Yeah, I'm not like super into Drake, but I like his tunes. Vianne?
I like current boy bands, so I would say 8 Letters by Why Don't We?
Nice. I'm more into the 90s boy bands in general and just 90s. And speaking of, my favorite has to be Baby One More Time by the ever so timeless Britney Spears. Rock out.
It's a great song.
Love her. Thanks for spelling your favorite songs to me, guys. I now have every lyric running through my head because that's how my brain works.
Zach has a reputation for his weird news, but this segment is news and reviewed. We'll judge later if it's weird or not.
Hey everybody, it's Friday. Hey everybody, it's Zach here and welcome. Hey, I got a little too excited, all right? Welcome to the segment where I get to talk about the movies, TV shows, and songs new and old. That's right, it's time for Views and Reviews. On this inaugural edition of Views and Reviews, I take a look at the most recent film I watched, The Hangover. This film features 5 friends who, after a night of partying, can't find their friend Doug, and it is a race against time as he is set to wed the next day. The movie had its fun moments, however, I felt like I just got a little ripped off as it revolved only around the aftermath and not the partying itself. I give it 3 Z's out of 5. For TV shows, I move on to the show Kim's Convenience, which is about a Canadian-Korean family who owns a convenience store in Toronto. I have to say the comedy is there, however, it does need to be brought out a little more. I give it 4 Z's. Now on to the tunes, and I have a good one for you, Ghost Story by Carrie Underwood. Ghost Story revolves around the narrator getting into the mind of her ex. This song definitely delivers with its haunting lyrics, one being, "I'll be haunting you, you'll be wanting me." However, the dark intro music and lyrics don't match up. All in all, this song is great, and I give it 4 Z's. That's this edition of Zach's Views and Reviews. I'll be back next week with more. So until then, relax and grab that popcorn and some headphones.
So what are the best-selling albums of all time? Alexa Fraser is here to tell us.
Ever wonder what the top albums of all time are? Here are the top 3. In 3rd place is The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Released March 1st, 1973 by Harvest Records. This was the band's 8th album release. A fact about this album is that it pairs perfectly with the classic movie Wizard of Oz. The band denies there was any correlation while making the album. Next, in 2nd place, Back in Black by AC/DC, released July 25th, 1980 by Albert Productions and Atlantic Records. Although it was the band's 7th album released, it was their first album with the band's new singer, Brian Johnson. Their original singer, Bon Scott, died 4 months before Back in Black was released. The band said it was a tribute to Bon. And in first place, Thriller by Michael Jackson, released on November 30th, 1982 by Epic Records. This was Jackson's 6th album released with his first credited guest appearance, Paul McCartney. After Jackson performed Billie Jean on Motown 25 television special, he performed his famous moonwalk, making sales increase. By the end of 1983, it became the best-selling album of all time. For MediaPlex Radio, I'm Alexa Fraser.
We all love our songs, and as Riley is here to tell us, there is a tune for every day of the week. Riley?
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you, it's Friday, I'm in love.
The other day, I was listening to Friday I'm in Love by The Cure. When writing lyrics for this song, lead singer Robert Smith had an epiphany on a Friday afternoon. Had anyone ever done a pop song with the days of the week? As a result, he came up with the lyrics to the now iconic song. But that got me thinking, what other popular songs feature lyrics about the days of the week? Well, I did some research and this is what I found. Let's dive in, starting with Monday. Well, an obvious choice would be Monday, Monday by the Mamas and the Papas, released in 1966.
Monday, Monday, so good to me.
But not to be outdone, the Bangles released Manic Monday in 1986. Clearly, they have a case of the Sunday scaries.
It's just another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday.
Let's move on to Tuesday. Of course, we can't forget this classic by the Rolling Stones, released in 1966.
Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang?
And this 1973 release by Lynyrd Skynyrd has been covered by some of the greats, including Metallica.
Tuesday's gone with the wind.
Jumping to midweek, the Guess Who would like to spend a Wednesday in your garden. And Johnny Cash wants you to know that a car made on Wednesday is the most reliable, at least in 1977.
Trying to do everything they should, putting them cars together good, and I got me a car that was made on Wednesday.
Now, it was trickier to find Thursday songs, but here's what I found. Rain Every Thursday is an instrumental song by jazz musician Bob Hutcherson, released in 1972. There's not one, but two songs called Sweet Thursday, one by Johnny Mathis from 1963.
It was on a sweet Thursday.
And one by Matt Costa, released in 2005.
Sweet Thursday's calling me back up tomorrow.
And now we're back to Friday, with Friday I'm in Love, of course, released in 1982.
Thursday, I don't care about you, it's Friday, I'm in love.
But if you've had a particularly wild night, there's Katy Perry's Last Friday Night.
Last Friday night, yeah, we danced on tabletops, and we took too many shots. Think we kissed, but I forgot. Last Friday night.
Now we're making it to the end of a long week, and we could not forget Saturday in the Park by Chicago, released in 1972.
Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of July.
But there's also the 1973 hit, Saturday Night's All Right by Elton John.
Oh, Saturday night's all right, all right, get a little action on it.
1977's Easy by the Commodores seems like a good choice for a Sunday song.
It's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning.
But let's not forget the much more violent Sunday Bloody Sunday, released by U2 in 1983. Well, hopefully after such a long and musical week, you might get the weekend off. Or not.
Everybody's working for the weekend. Everybody wants a new romance.
Oh, it's the last day of school, and Ken Pastashin went out to find out what some have planned.
For most college and university students, today is the last day of school, so I went out to see what some of them have planned for their newfound freedom. Sadie Douglas is a travel and tourism student, and she's glad to be done.
I'm moving to Whistler, BC for the summer for my placement. I will be working as a housekeeper at the Fairmont Chateau Whistler.
Gracie Lowe's is graduating from journalism.
So for the summer, I don't have many plans other than working full-time at a grocery store up in Sauble Beach.
And Amelia Wilson is a public relations student.
For summer, I love to just go to the beach with my friends. That's something that's really available because I do live in a kind of resortish beach town. So we love taking that opportunity and just going down and painting and swimming. And sometimes we'll bring our bikes and just really get into the spirit of summer. So it's nice.
So for some, it's goodbye and farewell. And for others, it's see you in September. Either way, school's out for the summer. For MediaPlex Live, I'm Ken Pastushin.
Well, as weird as it feels being the last day of classes, it just might get weirder as Zach is here.
I got the great story, I promise. It's Friday, and that means it's time to take a look at the weirdest news found on the internet. That's right, it's time for Weird News. Stories like this are only going to become more and more common as we attach ourselves to our phones. A woman atop Mount Walker in Washington State dropped her phone into a toilet in an outhouse. She then decided to go in and dive for it. What could go wrong?
That stinks.
Yes. No kidding. Think she lost her e-card? The woman got stuck in which essentially was a large hole in the ground. She was later rescued. When you gotta go for your phone, you gotta go. From toilets to Florida, and that's a downgrade. It's time for
Florida Man does whatever a Florida man can. Look out, here comes the Florida Man.
When you are driving and you get lost, it's always nice to call and ask for directions, unless you're a man and unless you're drunk. Well, a Florida man in Clearwater reportedly called 911 on himself. Raul Aceron was driving around Clearwater and he realized he was lost. He then called the 911 and told the operator that he had been drinking and he was in an unfamiliar location. The man was arrested for driving under the influence. Really? That's what it takes? That's all it takes for you to call for directions? Now he is under the influence of the sheriff. That's the weirdness for this week. Oh, dad joke alert. I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around. I'm Zachary Balog. You cannot make this stuff up.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you for tuning in.
You've been listening to MediaPlex Live
on CJAM 99.1, redefining radio in Windsor, Detroit.
On today's show, we've had contributions from
Vienne Duchesne,
Maha Hussein,
Donna Tuckwell,
Ravi Shanwajamane,
Sarah Werstein,
Colin Bannon,
Caleb Coulter,
Isabella Spadafora,
Gracie Lowe's,
Morgan Hurt,
Ken Pastushin,
Alexa Frazier, and Jasper Cha.
I'm Riley Livingston, and he's Zach Balog. Woo! See you next week, CJammers.
That was easy.